everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ron, and today I figured I'd go over the patch notes for Season 2, since now they are officially out. I also don't need my headset for this. Sorry, I was just filming a video, and there will be some footage in the background of me going on the new rival escalation mission. So with the patch notes, we have a new seasonal event. This is Rival Signal. This is a hacking event. You have to break each of these. There is 3 around it, and then you can start the hack. These hacks go out to these various antenna out here. Once you go over to the antenna, you have a certain amount of time to complete the hack. The hack is not like the robot hack. It's more of a wire cutting one, so you have to click one end of the wire, wait for the light to go around to the other end of the wire, click on that, and then wait for the section where it goes in the middle where you have a little green diamond, I believe, and that lets you cut it. You have to do this, I want to say 3 times on this event for each of these, and you have to do 5 of them. This one got changed from the experimental. It used to have not very much time to do it whatsoever. They give you a lot more time now. They give you about twice the amount of time, which is great because on the experimental, if you weren't playing like Scout where you could immediately get to the node that was needing to be hacked, it was really difficult, and sometimes you just wouldn't have enough time even if you just ran right over to there. So it is nice that they give you extra time, and once you complete these, then it will give you a data cube. If you don't complete it, then it will self-destruct, and this goes out into a certain area that blows up. It's represented by an orange light that comes out, so you can see where the explosion radius is, and if you're on the far end of the explosion radius, it really doesn't do that much damage. If you're up close, I think it does a bit more damage. I've never been right next to it when it set off, though. So that's a cool new event. We have the Rival Presence. This is the new mission type, which this mission makes it so that robots can appear throughout the caves. This is similar to like a MacTerra Plague or Swarmageddon or something like that, where they can just appear into regular groups. There is also a section of turrets that is set up with a central node. You can hack that. That hack takes, I think, 4 or 5 wires to be cut and can take a while to actually do, but once you cut it, it destroys all the turrets in the nearby area. Well, just all the turrets that are out. You can also just kill, I think, the majority of the turrets. I'm not sure if you need to kill them all, and then this will also shut down the supply. Although once you've killed all the turrets, it works either way. So the only class that I found that can really get close to the actual hacking section, at least effectively in most areas, is Driller. You can just drill right to it and then hack it. That is probably the easiest. Gunner sort of can, so long as there aren't repulsion turrets around where you can throw your shield down and potentially hack it within that amount of time. Again, so long as the turrets aren't smacking around or something. In certain other areas like Sandblast Caverns, you can also do it just because you can dig directly down underneath the event so that you're not getting hit by the turrets. That's another way to do it too. So there's a couple ways around it, and they can spawn at any point during the cave. I've had them spawn at the very start of caves, and I've had them spawn at the very end of caves. We also have a new enemy here. This is Nemesis. I actually just recently released a video that was showing both Nemesis and the Rival Presence, at least from a mission that I did on stream. Nemesis can spawn multiple times. Nemesis can also grab with his tentacles here. If he grabs you with these claws, then you're held in place and you have to wait for either a friend to damage him, which is either the eye or the side panels, I believe. This will cause him to get stunned and drop whoever he grabbed. You can also do the same thing with Heightened Senses. Heightened Senses does not kill him. Just like all the other robots, he is susceptible to fire, so if you do light him on fire, he will be instantly destroyed, and when Nemesis is destroyed, he starts throwing out the phase bomb similar to the Caretaker. These just fly all over the place. It seems randomly. I don't think they track anything. Nemesis himself is potentially dangerous. He's got really long reach, and if he does grab you and you don't have Heightened Senses, you're probably dead unless teammates just happen to stun him as you're getting grabbed, because he does do a lot of damage per second. I'm not sure on the lower difficulties, but on Has 4 and Has 5, it seems like he downs you very, very quick. And like I said, he can spawn multiple times during a mission, so he's not like a Crassus Detonator, which can only spawn at the very start of a mission. After that, we have the new Performance Pass, the Battle Pass for Deep Rock. This is completely free, just like it was last season, so you get up to 3 challenges. You get 1 of these each day. They give you so many points. This builds up your rank, and you unlock things for free. This can include anything from paint jobs, pickaxe parts, helmets, various materials, the script, which helps you unlock the cosmetic tree, so you can get all the cosmetics there. It's really awesome. I really like the cosmetics this time around. The weapon skins look fantastic. The kind of Vault Tech looking colors of the orange and blue Really like them. Definitely going to get them for all the weapons and probably use them quite a bit. So if you missed out on any of like the paint jobs, the pickaxe parts, the skins, the emotes, anything like that from the previous season or for any season going forward, you can still unlock them. They still are available for you to get. They can be found in places like the shop if they're a lower leveled one, cosmetic cores, the lost packs, or the cargo crates. So even if you missed all that stuff, it doesn't matter. You can still get it. And once again, all these are just like purely cosmetic. They're just for fun. But I do like that they have made it so that this is available to everybody. I really think that's a good model, and I wish a lot of other games had stuff like this. Thanks Ghost Ship for just being awesome and actually letting everybody get everything if they really want it. Then we have the new secondary weapons, of course. And I have videos talking about first impressions of these, and I have 2 videos about the overclocks on 2 of these. I didn't get around to making the other 2 before the experimental went live, so I'll just have to wait until I get all the overclocks for them and then kind of do a overview of them each. I will also need to redo the Shard Diffractor because both videos that I made for the Shard Diffractor got pretty much outdated immediately upon me releasing them or within 24 hours. With our new secondary weapons, we have Scout getting the Bolt Shark. This is the crossbow. Crossbow's really good. This lets you have 3 different bolt types. These are special types, and these are only your tier 1. These are not overclocks. The crossbow did have 6 overclocks, 2 clean, 2 balanced, and 2 unstable, all of which felt really good when I was trying them. And just the base crossbow actually feels really good. Without any upgrades, the crossbow can one-shot, body shot regular grunts on any difficulty, which is really nice. The 3 special bolts that you can equip in tier 1 are the pheromone bolts, the acid bolts, and the electric bolts. All of them are pretty good. The pheromone bolts act similar to the pheromone canisters, so anything that you hit, enemies will try to attack it. You can hit multiples, and enemies will try to fight each other. You can have the acid bolts, or the explosive chemical bolts, whatever you want to call them. These ones stick into an enemy, deal damage over time, and then when that enemy dies, it explodes, dealing damage to all enemies. It does take a little while for it to go off, so it's kind of awkward. I found to kind of get it to work, at least on Haz 5. I imagine on the lower hazards it's not as weird because bugs aren't moving as fast. The electricity bolts deal damage to whatever it hits, as well as slows it down, and you can arc the electricity bolts together, so you can be dealing extra damage that way and slowing them down similar to the overclock turret arc. Really good weapon. I really found that the crossbow was super fun and probably my favorite of the new secondaries. I was looking forward to it the most, and it did not disappoint. Then we have the Shard Diffractor. This one got changed the most. This is Engineer's new secondary. This is a laser cannon, so you can point it. It has infinite range, so long as you can actually see. So anything that you point it at, it will pretty much hit. It doesn't have that much recoil. It functions similar to the autocannon or really any of Gunner's primary weapons where it slows you down when you are using it. So kind of keep that in mind. You also can't do any sort of environmental damage with this, so you can't break up ground with it like you can with the grenade launcher. It's more like the breach cutter. But this weapon feels really strong. Overclocks got changed quite a bit. This used to function very differently just with the base weapon, and then overclocks got changed around. It got changed around again. So for the most part, I really like it, though. I think it's good, and it does let you build up heat with it really quick, too. It has fire on it base, so you can light enemies on fire, which is nice if you want to put it on a robot. And of course, it's nice if you want to put it on like a Praetorian or a Presser or anything like that. Anything that's flammable. For Gunner, they have the coil gun. This is a little rail pistol. Really fun weapon. You charge it up. You have to charge it up each time. But when you do fully charge it, it does high damage as well as it does AoE damage because the projectile you shoot creates a trail that also deals damage to any enemy that's caught inside of this, as well as it can have some other effects. Like with one of the tier 5s, it can have electricity on it, so it's zapping enemies too. Really fun weapon. I really enjoy this one. I think this one's probably one of the more straight... I think that this one's probably the most straightforward of the weapons, but still really cool. Oh, you can also punch through terrain with this. I should mention that too. It can punch through terrain up to an extent, and that is just based on when it hits the terrain and how far it goes. And then our last weapon is the Wave Cooker. This is Driller's new secondary weapon, and this weapon is very odd. It has infinite range as well, and it goes almost instantly as to where you're hitting. It feels more like a hit scan weapon. It has a really large reticle, and the reticle pretty much is everything that you're hitting within it. So it's pretty easy to hit just about everything with this. It's great for taking out things like web and acid spitters at a distance, and it synergizes really well with the flamethrower and with the cryo cannon. It also synergizes pretty well with the sludge pump. But yeah, try the full temperature build with either the flamethrower or the cryo cannon, It can do a lot of damage and clear up crowds really fast. So definitely a fun weapon in my opinion, and it has some really cool overclocks, like it actually gets a radiation overclock, which is nice. There was a new material added as well. This is the Phasonite. This makes it so you can choose to pay for cosmetics with Phasonite instead of credits and materials. This is great. I like that they added more stuff like this so that you can get everything a little bit easier. It's great for new players because it lets you catch up quicker if you really want to buy cosmetics. So no complaints there. Although I have found Phasonite to be really rare. I think I've only found one vein of this since the patch actually went live, and I've been playing it quite a bit since it went live. Oh, we also have a new A/B choice for Forge Mastery rewards. Every time you get 5 overclocks forged in the overclock forge, then you get to pick between 2 different characters to pick whichever overclock you would like. So if you get Scout and Gunner and you want a Gunner overclock, you can pick Gunner for it. So this is less random. It lets you build to whichever class you enjoy playing most or whichever overclock you're trying to go for the most. And I really like this too. I think this is a great idea. I do wish that there was still another way to potentially get blanks because with how many overclocks there are now in the game, and with you only being able to get a certain amount from like the deep dives, from the weeklies and stuff, I do wish that it was a bit upped so that newer players could kind of catch up quicker who want to get this stuff, want to try out the overclocks, and maybe want to get overclocks for specific classes. Might have a little bit of an easier time doing that. But I think that this is still pretty good. Let's see what else we got. We got the medical gowns. Yeah, medical gowns now, whenever you return from an unsuccessful mission, I think you can also blow yourself up inside the space rig, like if you jump into the thing that the barrels, well, you're trying to kick the barrels into. I think you will get a medical gown, and so long as you don't go to the equipment terminal or like the changing terminal, then you should still have the medical gown to go on missions with. So that's cool. Fun new cosmetic. I like it. There is the new Robot Rebellion pack that's been added. This is purely cosmetic, but it looks pretty cool. I like the helmets. It looks like they have just kind of scrapped parts together and made their own armor. Awesome. And then we have some weapon balances here. First up, we have the Corrosive Sludge Pump, which is the Corrosive Sludge Pump got a really big buff, which is nice. So it got increased base rate of fire. This is really noticeable. It feels almost twice as fast. I'm not sure if it actually is that quick. I can't remember what the actual speed difference was. Increased base ammo, nice. The Sludge Pump was already fairly ammo efficient, but more ammo is always good. Reduced the base magazine size slightly. This is, I think, from 25 to 20. Reduced the base normal shot damage, which is still fine. The Sludge Pump was doing really high damage with each of its shots anyway. It increased the normal and charged shots corrosive damage conversion, so you're dealing more damage over time. Slightly increased the base puddle size a little bit. I mean, that's kind of nice. I didn't really notice that much of a difference, but it is nice. And then the Tier 5 Ingredient X armor melting mechanic is no longer a mod for you to pick. So the Sludge Pump has armor break no matter which way you want to build it, which is really awesome. I think this is great for the Sludge Pump. Sludge Pump was already one of my favorite weapons in Deep Rock, so cool. We're getting even more things for it. I do know that not a lot of people took it because it is a weird weapon. It's far more wonky than like the flamethrower or the cryo cannon is, where you just kind of point it at something and shoot. This one you kind of do that too, but not exactly the same way. See, we got some modification tweaks. So we have increased velocity in the Tier 1. We have slightly reduced damage from the potent goo in Tier 2. That's okay. Reduced maximum ammo bonus from the Tier 3 goo canisters. We have the increased charge reduction in the spooling mechanism. This one is noticeable. I think this one got increased by 10%, I want to say. And it feels really good. Whenever you want to use charge shots and you want to use this one, it spools up really fast. And also increase the dots, so the damage over time bonus from the acid in Tier 5. Great. I don't notice that one a whole lot, if I'm honest. But it's nice that it did get a buff. And then we had some overclock changes. So Sludge Blast got buffed quite a bit. Sludge Blast really needed a buff because before it was really good on like Dreadnought missions and really good for taking out things like Oppressors and Praetorians. Aside from that, it was pretty bad at just dealing with regular hordes because you ran through ammo so fast. And it had so many downsides. The main upside was that you get a shotgun and that the velocity is much better. Other than that, you had so many downsides, like it took longer to charge, you had less ammo overall. I think it reduced your base damage as well, or maybe it was charge shot damage, I don't recall. It really needed a buff. So this one was remove the clip size penalty. That's great. It changed the ammo penalty from a percentage to a flat value. That is really good, because even when you built ammo with it previously, you'd still run through ammo. Remove the charge time penalty entirely. That's really useful. And increase the fragment damage conversion slightly. I was using Sludge Blast on the experimental, and it felt great. It felt really, really strong. I like that they actually buffed this one and kind of took some of the things away that were kind of holding it back. We also have AG Mixture that got buffed. This just got a slight velocity increase, so I think it went from 20% to 30%. It feels like it also somewhat is less affected by gravity than it was. I know that's what the overclock actually does, but this way it felt a little bit better. Maybe it's just the increased velocity that I noticed, because it felt like I could shoot this thing very straight for a very long time. And then Volatile Impact Mixture also got buffed for some reason. I don't know why. So this increases damage bonus and charge from flat values to percentage values, and also increase the damage over time duration penalty. So the damage over time duration penalty didn't really matter because of how much damage you did normally with the Volatile Impact. And since this is a percentage value now, rather than a flat amount, you are getting usually more damage. I built this for full damage, and it really rips through things fast. One shot from this, I think, can almost kill or maybe it can kill a slasher from full health with just one shot. It's either it can or it very nearly does, which means like a pickaxe hit will kill him. This one in particular is probably the second best overclock, in my opinion, for the sludge pump, besides maybe Disperser Compound. And it's cool that it got a buff. I don't think it needed it, but it's cool that it did get a buff. Then we have some modifications for the Drac. So the Drac had reduced base projectile speed. This is noticeable. It's not as fast as it was before. I think this is kind of to tone down the Drac so that there's more of a reason to take the GK2. I think it would have been nice for them to buff the GK2 rather than tone down the Drac, but that's just my opinion. They also reduced the base fire rate slightly. This isn't that noticeable. It feels about the same as it did before to me. I think they only adjusted by maybe 1, so I think now it's... I actually don't know the values of the Drac. And we also had some modification tweaks. So projectile speed bonus in tier 1, cool, and rate of fire bonus in tier 1, cool. I imagine that those ones got buffed just because the middle mod was getting so much attention, which was just less heat generated per shot, which is still a really good one. They're all really good. And then we have some overclock tweaks. So we have impact deflection getting changed. This one is no longer a clean, it's now a balanced. And they've added the rate of fire penalty, so you still get the bouncy rounds. The rate of fire penalty, I think, is 2. I tried this quite a bit too. I really liked it. It's still really strong. Still clears through hordes really fast, so still a great overclock. And aggressive venting got changed from a balanced to a clean overclock, so they removed all the penalties from it, which is really awesome. And they reduced the overheat recovery bonus slightly. This is, I think, to kind of make it more in line with a clean overclock. So now when you overheat it, it still deals damage to all enemies around you, or at least lights everything on fire around you and scares everything around you. And then your weapon cools down faster than it normally would, which was already really good. It was already really ammo efficient. It was great for crowds. And now with this, it's even better. So that's awesome. Then also the rewiring mod got slightly changed, which reduced the ammo penalty, which is nice. Rewiring mod was already really ammo efficient. It wasn't the most ammo efficient for Scout, though. Hipster was still usually better, and still probably is better just overall because Hipster is insane. Let's see, the GK2 got changed, at least electrifying reloads, which was replacing the damage penalty with an ammo penalty. That is actually better. That's a whole lot better because the damage penalty really sucked on electric reloads. Electric reloads honestly isn't that great of an overclock in my opinion. At least in multiplayer. and solo, it's fine. In solo, you can actually get a decent amount of value out of it. But in multiplayer, before, it just felt so sluggish. And by the time you were going to electric reload, a couple enemies, your team had probably already killed all of them. And then we also got a jerry-rigged boomstick change, which was shaped shells got changed apparently. This is replacing the pellet count penalty with a small ammo penalty. Oh, okay. Even the pellet penalty wasn't really a big deal on shaped shells. Shape shells was actually really good. Maybe they actually fixed the problem with it, though, where sometimes you'd have the bigger crosshair like the regular boomstick and it wouldn't be the adjusted crosshair. I'm speculating there. I don't know if that's true or not. Pheromone grenades also got buffed. So this increases the max number of enemies that can be hit and affected by the pheromone canisters. The effect is longer lasting, and enemies affected by this will now try to attack one another rather than just getting beat up on by one enemy. So that's nice. Pheromone grenades were probably the weakest of Scout's grenades because the IFGs just let you do so much damage and slow down crowds, which is just really nice. as well as push objectives with it. And the crowd grenades, you just get a flat freeze. So really good there. Pheromone canisters weren't bad by any means. They were still really good. It's just that you don't get a whole lot of them. And sometimes they just weren't really worth using for crowds. Then let's see what else we got. We got community request. Dwarves can now laser point someone else to get their attention. Yeah, you can point at that and pay compliments to one another. That's pretty cool. Industrial mass moved to the beard slot. The industrial mask is moved to the beard slot so that it doesn't take over your headgear. Cool. Loadouts for server mods. Okay. Optional required. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. There was the new damage type, too. The crossbow does its own damage type, which is piercing. I think that this counts as armor breaking, potentially. Or maybe it just functions as its own separate damage type, and it's affected by enemies differently. I'm not sure if it is affected by armor as much. It doesn't seem to be, because you can hit things like Praetorians or Oppressors in the face and still deal a decent amount of damage to them. I know that it does have area damage, though, so it might just be that dealing it to it. It still feels a little bit strong for the amount of area damage that it says it does, though. They also reduced the corrosion resistance to all dreadnoughts and grunt guards. This is pretty nice. This does make the sludge pump feel even better against these. Let's see, and I think the rest of these are just, yeah, like font and text tweaks, modding, Glyphid Menace getting changed slightly. Nothing really to go into depth about, but this new update is awesome. So far, I'm really liking it. I like all the changes that they made. So thanks everybody for watching this. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys are having a lot of fun in Season 2, getting all your rewards and trying out these new secondaries, getting some cool overclocks for them. I will be putting out a lot more videos for Deep Rock for all the different overclocks, different builds, different mission types, different challenges, all sorts of fun stuff. That will be coming out in the future. Be sure that you get subscribed, that way you see it. Special thanks to the supporters of this channel. These are my members over here on YouTube and my patrons over on Patreon. They get early access to videos just like this one. If you would like to be a part of it, you can. There are links down in the description. Thanks everybody for doing that. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye!